Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas Cowboys, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. In terms of swapping out one player for another, it can be hard to make sense of one move the Dallas Cowboys made in free agency. Dallas watched their 1,000-yard running back go out the door in Rico Dowdle, who signed a one-year, $2.75 million contract with the Carolina Panthers on March 12th. In Dowdle's place, they brought in Denver Broncos running back Javonte Williams on a one-year, $3 million contract after he led the Broncos with 513 rushing yards in 2024 but averaged just 3.7 yards per carry. Signing Williams could eventually cost the Cowboys a compensatory draft pick, and according to ESPN's Bill Barnwell, there's an outside chance Williams might not even make the Cowboys' 53-man roster. Why replace Dowdle with a back who has averaged 3.7 yards per carry and posted the league's fifth-worst success rate since returning from a multi-ligament knee injury in 2023? Barnwell wrote on June 3rd, "Only $1 million of Williams' $3 million is guaranteed, so there's a slim but plausible chance he doesn't even make the active roster in Week 1. I would say it's likely Williams gets there, but that we see him strictly in a rotational role. He's not likely to reach Dowdle's heights in workload or production." Want to be even more confused? The Cowboys drafted two running back in 2025, taking Jaden Blue in the 5th round, number 149 overall, and Phil Maffa in the 7th round, number 239 overall. Williams seemed to regress in 2024. The confusing thing about Williams and his recovery from a devastating knee injury suffered in Week 4 of the 2022 season was that it seemed like he regained his form when he returned in 2023 only to see a major regression in 2024. The Broncos drafted Williams in the 2nd round, number 35 overall, in the 2022 NFL Draft, and he had a stellar rookie season with career highs in total offense, 1,209 yards, rushing yards, 903, and touchdowns, 7. After missing 13 games in 2022 with his knee injury, he returned in 2023 and played in 16 games while eclipsing 1,000 yards of total offense again. In 2024, with an improved offensive line and, finally, a reliable quarterback in Bo Nix, Williams took a step back and had just 859 yards of total offense and 4 touchdowns, both career lows for a complete season. Benching Williams seemed best option for Denver. Things got so bad in 2024 that at one point it seemed like the Broncos' best move was to bench Williams and cede his carries to rookie Audric Estime and Jaleel McLaughlin to try and get the running game going. To me, I think running the ball is where the Broncos have to kind of just bite it and say, "Hey, we've been trying this all season long," Broncos reporter Cody Rourke said on the Locked On Broncos podcast on December 11th. "It hasn't worked. If we're going to make the postseason, we need to find a way to get the run game going. And we need to get Estime, who we keep saying we want to get more to get him the ball and see it through." Williams' struggles also cost him big money in free agency. Headed into 2024, Spotrac projected he would receive something in the range of a 3-year, $20.7 million contract in free agency, a far cry from the deal he actually received. Tony Adame covers the NFL for Heavy.com, with a focus on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Washington Commanders, and Denver Broncos. A veteran sports writer and editor since 2004, his work has been featured at Stadium Talk, Yardbarker, NW Florida Daily News, and Pensacola News-Journal. More about Tony Adame. The Dallas Cowboys are going into the 2025 season expecting to be able to compete with the best of the best. Their own division has 2 teams who played in last year's NFC Championship game. However, their roster took a bit of a hit this week. From CowboysCountry.com, Mike Fisher, who provides coverage of OTA practices at the Star, said there were some notable takeaways. Promising young defenders DeMarvion Overshown and Sam Williams were working with the rehab group as they pushed towards returning to the field this season. Elite wide receiver George Pickens sported his new number 3 jersey and made plays all over the field. Now for the bad news. 2024 to 2025 NFL receiving touchdowns leaderboards. While the Cowboys are anticipating the return of several key players, starting safety Malik Hooker suffered an injury that forced him to leave practice early. We now are told that Hooker was dealing with back spasms, and the word is that the defensive back will be fine for Thursday's OTAs. Hooker is arguably one of the Cowboys' most underrated players and has brought stability and playmaking to the free safety position since his arrival in 2021. The former Ohio State Buckeye was selected 15th overall in the 2017 NFL Draft by the Indianapolis Colts. Hooker has always been an undeniably talented football player, but a devastating torn Achilles in 2020 with the Colts was a setback. Hooker was recently ranked as a top 20 safety in the NFL by PFF's Zoltan Bude, further proving his value to the Cowboys. Bude ranked the top 32 players at the safety position but noted Hooker declined in 2024. Following 2 strong seasons in which he ranked among the top 15 safeties in PFF overall grade, Hooker's play declined this past season. The Ohio State product's 65.3 PFF overall grade ranked only 42nd at the position. However, over the previous 2 seasons, he combined to allow just 19 receptions and 3 touchdowns in coverage, Bude wrote for all NFL and college football content. Follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at McQuaidWarnold. Also, do not forget to follow us on Twitter for even more great football content. To read more of our articles and keep up to date on the latest in the world of the NFL, especially with all the trade rumors swirling around and free agency news, college football, and more, click here. Get the latest pro and college football news, analysis, and breaking stories on the NFL, NCAA, fantasy football, and more. Tap the star to add us to your favorites on Google News, so you never miss a story from the football field. The Dallas Cowboys have already made 4 trades this offseason, with each bringing in players who could make a difference in the starting lineup right away. Headlining the moves was Dallas sending draft picks to the Pittsburgh Steelers to acquire the electrifying wide receiver George Pickens. This trade builds a dangerous passing attack with quarterback Dak Prescott and all-pro receiver CeeDee Lamb that could rival the best offensive trios in the NFL. The Cowboys are expected to be done making high-profile free agency moves and go into training camp with what they have, but that isn't stopping the opportunity to fantasize another trade that could shake up Dallas' offense even more. Anthony Palacios of Last Word on Sports speculates, since the Cleveland Browns drafted talented prospect Harold Fannin and are entering a rebuild, that Pro Bowl tight end David Njoku might be made available in a trade. Njoku is entering the final year of his current contract, and despite being one of Cleveland's best players in recent years, the Browns could turn things over to the rookie if it helps their causes in ushering in a new era with their new-look quarterback room. That uncertainty under center may also lead the Browns to think Njoku would want to leave next offseason, so they could try to get value for him ahead of time if possible. Palacios lists the Cowboys as a potential trade partner, despite Dallas still having a former Pro Bowler themselves in Jake Ferguson. Last season, tight end Jake Ferguson had one of the worst campaigns in his career. He's hopeful to make a huge turnaround, even though it might seem bright after trading for George Pickens, Palacios said. However, anything could happen, and Njoku provides a lot of experience that the Cowboys could benefit from if Luke Schoonmaker can't step up behind Ferguson. Ferguson did have a down year in 2024, but there has been no chatter about the front office looking to move on from Big Biscuit. He is entering just his 4th season in the NFL and can blame injuries to himself and his quarterback for some of his inefficiency last season. While Njoku would certainly provide more experience and greater athleticism, the Cowboys likely aren't in the market to dish out any extra draft capital if they can help it. And in comparing their 2023 seasons, the year both players made their lone Pro Bowls, Njoku's numbers are only slightly better than Ferguson's, even though the former has 5 more years of experience than the latter. The Browns' tight end finished with 81 catches, 881 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Dallas Ferguson ended with 71 receptions, 761 yards, and 5 scores, on less targets. The Cowboys are hoping their tight end bounces back with how the Lamb/Pickens duo is expected to command loads of attention and free up Ferguson's sweet spots in the middle of the field. Adding Njoku to this group could result in a crowded situation of guys demanding touches that Dallas would rather avoid under first-year head coach Brian Schottenheimer.